Hello, my name's Ian Tomlinson and I'm an Imago therapist and deliver the Getting the Love You Want workshops here in Manchester with my partner Joanna.
And I'm Joanna, and I'm also a psychotherapist here at the Affinity Centre in Manchester. And what we want to do today is talk to you about the Getting the Love You Want workshop and answer some common questions that come up throughout our workshops.
Yeah. So Joanna, shall we start with what the Getting the Love You Want workshop is?
Yeah, it's a good place to start. I think for me, the Getting the Love You Want workshop is around couples who want a closer, loving connection.
Yeah, so it's not necessarily for couples who are really struggling, although they can come too.
Yeah, and maybe that's the key point, that it's for all couples at any stage of the relationship. So often we have couples who've been together for 18 months, 2 years, and then that whole bunch of couple who've been together like 25, 30, 35 years.
Yeah.
And what I love is how they feed off one another because everybody gets something from it.
Yeah, we get a real variety, which is exciting, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think you're right, people do learn from each other and usually have a really good laugh in the process.
Yes. So maybe the question of what's the workshop is about is, for me, it's about couples at any stage of their relationship who recognise they want to have more.
Yeah. So, what about the sort of stuff we talk about at the workshop? What do we cover?
What's your favourite bit?
Um, I I guess what we do first is we look at the theory,
Mm.
and the bit I like about that is pennies drop for people, and they
Yeah.
like get that oh that's why we do that thing,
Yes.
and so I really like that bit, and I also like on the second day where we spend a fair bit of time the couples working, going off themselves and doing the work that's focused on bringing them closer.
Yeah.
So they're not dealing with the really difficult stuff in their relationship because it's a therapeutic workshop, it's not therapy. But I really like it that they have an opportunity to concentrate on the important, loving, connected things in the relationship.
Yes.
What about you? What do you like?
I think probably the key bits for me are exactly what you said. The first day being around our Imago view of this is what relationships are, and often what I experience is the relief of, oh, we're not getting it wrong.
Yeah.
This is a way of seeing relationship, and obviously it's not the way,
Yeah.
but it's that relief for me.
Yes, there's quite a lot of insight, I guess, that people have.
Yes, it's a better therapeutic word.
Yeah, that they see that where they are in their relationship is perfectly normal, and they haven't done anything wrong,
Yeah.
and that there is a way through that power struggle phase. In Imago, we call it the power struggle phase of the relationship. That they can make it through that, and there is a different way of doing relationships, and I guess hope comes in.
Yeah, for sure. And maybe that's the theme throughout the weekend, that all the exercises add into, literally a visual of how, as you take the negativity out of the relationship, we fill it with all of those exercises that people get to experience with their partner throughout the weekend.
Yeah.
And it kind of like really builds the energy towards the end of the workshop.
Yeah, you do that lovely diagram on the board
Yeah.
that we fill with positivity.
Yes.
And I guess the other thing to connect with that is, although we spend a lot of time talking about positivity, we also, with the dialogue process, give a mechanism for people to be able to talk about where they're getting stuck in the relationship.
Yeah, that's a good point. I guess so much of the workshop, particularly on the first day, is normalising the stuckness. So in Imago, it's meant to happen. It's the opportunity for growth and healing for both partners. So what I particularly like is that we normalise and include the stuckness rather than see it as other.
Yeah. So the first question we have here is, do I have to share my stuff?
That's a great one, isn't it? Because I wouldn't go to any workshop where I had to share all my deepest, darkest secrets. And I'm guessing you wouldn't come with me either.
No, it's true. I think that fear, it's a perfectly normal fear to think that if you're going to go on a couples workshop, you're going to have to share
Yeah.
where you're getting stuck in the relationship, what's going on.
Yeah.
And you're right. That's not what the workshop's about, really. In fact, we encourage people to put their stuff in a box and come back to it afterwards. So at no point do people have to do that.
And maybe one of the key messages of that is that we share our stuff, and that's part of the feedback that we get from, I guess, every workshop that we've done, that people really appreciate that we bring our examples about where we've got stuck and how we've got out of it and what our relationship's been like. And I wonder if that actually it does encourage people to share more within the group and get over that nerves, because they kind of know what level we're at. It's an educational workshop.
Sure. I think something I love about the workshop is when people come in on Saturday morning, they're all looking a bit scared.
Yeah.
But by Sunday, everybody's so chilled out and enjoying each other's company. And even though they don't know what's going on in each other's relationships, there's a lot of camaraderie and familiarity, and actually they're all struggling, like all of us do, with the same stuff.
Well, maybe that's important too, that when couples leave, you and I don't know what's going on in their relationship, and that's probably a great example of where we've got an insight of where they are in terms of along the journey, but we don't know what struggles they're dealing with, because they don't have to share to that level.
Sure. Cool. I think we've answered that one. My other half is really reluctant to come to the workshop. Should I force them? Now, I'm not entirely sure how you would force somebody to come to the workshop. But I guess for me, nah, you don't make people come to a workshop that they don't want to go to.
Absolutely. I think it's okay to have that healthy resistance. As I often talk about in the workshop, there's always one partner who has been coerced into it and brought along, but they have to have a level of willingness. And if your partner doesn't want to come, don't do it, because both of you won't have a nice experience.
I think the vast, pretty much all the time, the people who do come, one person really wants to come and the other person's like, oh, go on then. I'll go if you really want to. And my experience is that often throughout the workshop, those people really get into it.
Yes, that's what I was thinking. That often the people who really want to do it realise, oh, there's a lot of work in this. And the people who've taken that healthy resistance, I wonder if that creates more space for them to, I don't know, take what they want from the workshop. There's like that slow integration throughout the weekend.
I think so, and I think the other thing that's just come to mind then is that the person who didn't want to go realises that it's not their fault that the relationship is not working. Both people have responsibility for the relationship not working. So, or the relationship getting stuck. I'm not saying not working, but maybe there's an air of, initially, sometimes the people who really want to go think that they're going to have their partner fixed, and actually it's about the relationship, not individuals.
Yes, there's something very safe and connecting about that, I think.
Great. So the next question I have got is, will I like the other couples on the workshop? It's an interesting one, isn't it?
Yeah. You know what I tell people when I'm talking to them is, there will be people like you. I think this workshop attracts people who are like-minded, and it doesn't really matter what your background is or where you're at or age, gender. There's something about the commonality of people's curiosity. Most people that come on this workshop are interested in their experiences.
Yeah, we don't really care what age you are, what colour you are, same sex, different sex, whatever. Everybody's welcome on the workshop, and I think what we do find is whoever comes does have a willingness to have a close, loving, connected relationship. I guess that's the common theme amongst everyone that comes. And so the chances are that you are going to like the people in the workshop because they're going to be like you, really.
And maybe the other point is you'll spend so much time in your couple and with the whole group that it's okay if you don't like everybody.
Yeah.
That's all right too.
Yes, it's not a workshop where they're going to work with each
Absolutely.
couple. They're going to work just within themselves. So absolutely, it doesn't really matter in some ways whether they like people or not. But I guess what we do have is a good laugh in the workshop.
Oh gosh,
so,
yeah.
So that is something that is aided by the fact that people actually are all in the same place with the same intention for being there.
There's the word, isn't it? That people have the same intention, and that's probably what bonds them.
Yeah. So the next question is this course just for people who are struggling in their relationship? And I think we've kind of touched on this already in the start of the video, but the most important thing to realise is that it's for everyone.
Yeah.
So we've had people who have come to the workshop who are just about to get married and they want to really concretise their experience of being close and connected. We've had people who've been married for 40 years. We've had everything in between. Some people are stuck. Some people are really stuck. Some people are not stuck at all. Some people want a close, loving relationship. It's been really varied, hasn't it?
Well, maybe that's the joy of the workshop, that I think very rarely people come in crisis, in a stuck point. They're coming because, well, I've said it at the beginning, that they want more. And I guess for me, something that really does stand out is the common thread among couples are around the ages of their children. Sometimes they're very young, they're struggling to spend time together. Yeah, they are stuck, of course they are. Or in our last workshop, there were a lot of couples where kids had just left home.
Yes.
You know, and they're kind of like, right, who are we now and how do we reconnect?
Yeah, what do we do?
What do we do now?
What do we do now? We've got all this time on our hands.
Yeah, so that is still stuck.
Yeah.
You know, those couples are stuck, but in a different way than maybe we'd think conflictually.
Yeah. So, yeah, you don't have to be stuck. And sometimes people are, and some people are more stuck than others. And this workshop really is about giving people an opportunity to connect and give them tools to get them out of the stuckness if that's where they experience themselves, and also to bring fun, enjoyment, surprises and a clear direction into their relationship. Yeah,
I think you say it beautifully often, where you say it's a time to press pause, step back, learn some new stuff, and then look at it with fresh eyes.
So the next question we've got, Joanna, is what if I don't want to do some of the workshop, some of the things that we ask people to do in the workshop? What would your answer to that one be?
Don't do it.
It's simple, isn't it?
Yes.
It's like you don't have to do anything.
But I wonder if there is an expectation, especially if you're in a group setting and we're inviting people to do those exercises. I think what I would say is what stands out is people's experience of being on the workshop.
Yeah.
So if you're going to push yourself to do exercises and that's going to make you really uncomfortable, well, you're not going to be available to do the bits that you really want to do. So it's not about doing every single thing. It's about your experience of being here and enjoying it and learning some new stuff and actually taking care of yourself, doing what you want to do.
Yeah, doing the bits you want to do and leaving the bits out you don't want to do. And actually mostly people do everything. That's what I notice. And because you're not doing this in front of an audience, you're doing, although you don't have privacy, because that's impossible to give and it's not therapy anyway, what you do have is a quiet space where you can talk to your partner and nobody else actually cares what you're doing in your corner because they're doing their stuff in their corner.
Yeah, nobody's looking at you.
So
and maybe the other important thing is my experience of people who've chosen maybe not to do an exercise or not to do an exercise as a couple because they recognise they need some air and they want to go for a walk instead, it hasn't made any difference.
Yeah. There's lots of opportunity to connect in lots of ways over the weekend.
Yeah.
And learn stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brilliant. Okay, so I think we have pretty much covered most of those. Can you think of anything else that people might want to know about this?
Possibly about the cost.
Okay.
I think it is an investment in your relationship, and I guess the importance for me around the cost is seeing it as an opportunity to spend time together. So lots of couples come away for the weekend, for example,
Yeah.
and use it as a break.
Yeah.
Have a lovely dinner.
We've got a great list, I must say. I wrote a very
That
good
you
post
wrote.
myself. Just taking a bit of credit for that. About hotels in the area. So we've got on the website, we've got information about hotels and restaurants in Cheadle, in the area.
Yeah.
If people are going to stay overnight, and it is a good way of getting away and having some downtime and really close time with each other.
Yeah, maybe that's what stands out to me most around couples. Even if they're local, they will often ship the kids off for the weekend and say, we're going to have dinner, we haven't had this much time together. So there's an opportunity there to see it as a break.
Yes.
And an opportunity to spend time together.
Yeah.
And the other thing is that couples do spread the costs over a number of months.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to be paid all in one lump.
Yeah.
And we will always work with couples to make sure that it is that it works for them.
Yeah, we do our best to offer flexible payment, really. So as long as people have paid by the time they get here, all good.
Yeah, and I guess your point around, whilst this is a psychoeducational workshop, not therapy, there is a therapeutic element to it. So for couples who are curious about working on their relationship, there's a whole heap of information that I think would take weeks, if not months, probably months, throughout a therapeutic journey that you're having over a weekend. So I think time value is very good as well.
Yes, it kind of reminds me that some people in the Imago world say this is equivalent to 3 to 6 months worth of therapy. Because I guess when I'm working with a couple, I wouldn't be giving them all of this theoretical information.
Yes.
I'd be just helping them really essentially dialogue with each other. So this is an opportunity to get a huge dose of understanding around why people get stuck, why we all get stuck in our relationships, and how they can move through that without having to go to therapy.
Yes, and I guess even if people do go to therapy afterwards, we've gone to therapy when we've got stuck.
Yeah.
And so even when people do go to therapy afterwards, it's about a concentrated part rather than trying to unpick it. So I think it makes the process quicker. Yes. Or I'm not sure if quicker is the right word, but
speeds understanding up, doesn't it?
Speeds understanding up.
Yeah.
For times where you do want that additional support sometime in your future.
Yeah. Yes. So I think we've answered all the questions that we've got, Joanna. So really, I hope that's been useful to you to understand what the workshop's about. If you go to deeperlove.co.uk, you can find more information about that, and you can book a place on the workshop. If there's anything you want to ask me about that, please email me. That's ian@affinitycentre.co.uk, and I will answer you as quickly as possible. So from me, that's goodbye, and I hope to see you soon on the workshop.
Goodbye, and I hope to see you soon.